Are you ready for some mojo? Let's rock this
Welcome to the Mojo for Musicians Limelight Lounge, where we showcase some of the hottest talent across the globe and what it took to get them to where they are today. Only here on the Mojo for Musicians podcast. I'm your host, Manny Cabo. Now let's do this. All right, Mojo Maniacs, welcome back. Have I got an amazing guest for you guys today? And it's kind of serendipitous because I met Mak, right, along the way through Clubhouse, through my other personal relationships like Tommy Jackson from First Note Plate, which we'll definitely get into as the interview transpires. But let's welcome to the show, Mak London. What's going on, Mak? So happy that you're here joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
And it's pretty cool because we were just talking about this behind the scenes. This is a hallmark moment for me because you are actually the first featured artist on quote unquote the Limelight Lounge.
I feel so special. This is great.
Right? Well, you should be. You should be. You know, I hand selected, the perfect person for the first episode. Not only are you easy on the eyes, and you know what, as an editorial fashion photographer so many years, I can relate to your background.
Yeah.
And your talent in music is beyond reproach. And I'm so excited for you, joining forces with First Note Play and Tommy, incredible crew over there. And
Yeah.
if people aren't really understanding or embracing your talent, it's crazy because I know your time is coming. It's already there. But let's get into this because there's so many questions, and I know I want to make this quick. I don't want it to be like my normal episodes, 45, 50 minutes. This is just highlighting and spotlighting you, the artist. Because at the end of the day, this is why I created this, to highlight you guys. And this is from a different perspective. So I really want you to indulge in the questions, be as, let's be brief with them because I really want to focus on the music, and your particular story. So I love a great success story. So tell me, take me back a little bit, okay? Because in reading your bio and doing some background, because you have to do that. And I enjoy doing background on artists, especially music that I really love. Take me back. You as a little girl, immigrant in Canada,
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
right?
I left Poland when I was 5 and ended up in Calgary, Canada.
Yeah.
When I was like 9 years old.
Yeah.
And I was like this shy little girl who sat in her closet and sang quietly and didn't want anyone to know my dream. And that went on forever.
Right.
Until I finally decided to write an album and make music.
That's awesome. What were the hardships that you found? I know we've had a lot over the years. I just lost my dad to COVID, Hurricane Ida. It's been a nightmare. But you, with the pandemic, you've endured a lot as well. Explain to me those hardships. Me, I'm a type of person where if I have a difficulty in my life, I feel it. I embrace it. But I always look on the positive side of it. I'm always a half glass full type of guy. Explain to me how those hardships impacted you, but how did you overcome them? And this is the juicy stuff because so many artists confront these hardships, but they feel alone. They're like, I don't know how to do this. Or they're afraid to expose that vulnerability to the world. So how did you overcome that?
I think my hardships of being shy and having performance anxiety have followed me through my whole life. I'm a perfectionist through and through.
Yeah.
But, sitting with myself and now at my age, I feel like if I don't do it now, I'll never do it and I'll never know.
Yeah.
So I think if anyone can take away from what my message is and, the song Empress is just to be powerful and step into your light.
It's a good song. It's a good song.
Thank you. And what's meant for you will land in the palm of your hand.
I agree.
And you just have to put in the hard work and the hours.
I agree. I don't force anything. When it's your time, if you do the work, if you do the reps, then certainly the time will come. And I think the problem that I shouldn't say we, that's more of a blanket statement, but I think most artists are only focused on the end result. Why isn't this coming? Why am I not achieving the accolades that I so-called desire?
Right.
And my philosophy is if you do enough of the work and focus on just staying in the lane of the goal and the work, then it'll come to fruition, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, it's consistency. Everybody wants to give up when it gets hard. Right. And I get in those moments. I even had a breakdown last week where I was like, I don't know what to do with my brand. I don't know what to do. How do I release this album? What do I do?
Now, wait, I want to stop you there. That's important. And I love that because you're embracing, right? That vulnerability. Dude, there's sometimes I'm pointing this corner, right? There's sometimes I want to crawl in that little corner over there and cry. because we are all going through that. And I think it's fantastic. That's a superpower, I hope you know, for your fans, letting them know the true side. Like, we're all concerned with certain things.
Hey, the first thing I said to anyone who was on my team is I'm going to be me. I'm going to be honest and authentic.
That a girl.
You get what you
That a
get.
girl. Good for you. And I think that's the way. And I noticed that in reading in your bio, and oh God, I'm trying to remember the exact verbatim, that your music is tailored behind authenticity and integrity.
Yeah.
And incidentally, those are two of the biggest key components components that I specifically adhere to in my career, but not just in my music, in everything that I do. You know, my dad, rest in peace, the one thing that he taught me was, if you're going to do something, do it right, but do it with passion, and also elevate those around you. And I see that in you. So it's no coincidence why I have you on the show.
Oh, thanks so much.
All right.
That means a lot.
So let's segue into the second question. What was the most important lesson that you've learned, since, you're in it now? Like, you've got this big album coming out in 2022, right? So you're in it. What are the lessons that you can share with my viewers with respect to what you've encountered, how you sidestep that, and what advice would you give to artists, especially in the process of, let's face it, making an album nowadays? That's something unheard of. Everyone's dropping singles, right?
Totally.
And I'm on the same playing field as you. I'm dropping another EP, an 8-song EP, and I'm still debating that. Because we are in such a culture of singles, the attention span isn't there. So that's pretty bold. And when I tell you, this is information coming from Damian Keyes, one of the top, educational musicologists, I call them, out of the UK, and Rick Barker, which he was Taylor Swift's manager. He's like, Manny, I don't know. I think you're probably better off dropping singles. So I get it. I know that ambivalence that you're embracing right now. So what
Honestly,
are your thoughts?
Like, it's ironic that you're saying this, because I was just in a meeting yesterday here in the States about my album and making future music, and basically was like, well, don't make another album, just drop more singles. Or why do you have to drop this album? Just drop the singles one after the other and do else. There's no magic formula.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, I think, like, it's to release expectations.
Yeah.
That's been my biggest lesson. And also just, to have people around you that you trust.
Yeah.
And that have the same vision, because there's a lot of people that will just try to, sideline you.
Yeah.
Take you off your track.
What, you mean sideline you in the entertainment industry? No.
Wow.
No. Of course, I'm being facetious as all hell, but listen,
there's a lot of discrimination. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not 18 years old. I have experience, I have careers, I have things that I've done in my life. And, the way that I've been questioned by some major hitters in the industry is insane. If I was questioned like that in an interview for an interior design job, it'd be like harassment.
All right, so wait a second. Let's touch up on that, because this is important for all my amazing females listening in. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the criticisms? How do you deal with being lowballed like that?
If only there was a fly on the wall in those conversations. I'm a pretty powerful woman, Manny.
That's awesome. And you know what? Let's leave it at that. Let's just say you've overcome it. That's not going to, you're like me though. And this is some of the things that I advocate. You got to put your blinds on. Just keep it going. When you have a vision, you got to stick to that. Get rid of the toxicity.
Advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
Get rid of the toxicity.
Right.
Cut them clean. There's another plug.
Yes. Love it. I see what you did there.
Stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Be that empress. If, for the females watching, it's just, stand your ground.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got to tell you, I don't know what your plan is, but I think I'm catering slowly but surely as the days elapse. I think I'm catering more toward the singles, and I'll tell you why. Because there was a lot of logic behind it. They're like, listen, you could drop 7 songs, put all of your marketing, and how, in order to be successful with dropping a release, you have to have at least 4 to 6 weeks of micro content already created. That's got to be established.
So much work.
It is a lot of when people don't realize that. I'm glad you're saying that, because many artists don't understand that. No. There's a 6-week game plan between making sure your lives, every day you got to go live, right? Making sure all of your posts, whether it's reels, whether it's stories, right? Figuring out what platforms you're going to leverage.
And it works.
It does.
Because I did that for Empress and for Hate Boy, and I saw a major change, right?
Yeah.
And then I kind of stopped doing it. And then you see that, that formula actually really works.
Yeah, absolutely. And the caveat is, You got to do the reps. That's been my biggest superpower. I just do the work. I don't complain. I just get it done. And everyone wants the accolades, but nobody wants to put in the work. So with that being said, let's move on to the next question. And this is kind of like a personal inquiry, right? Because we deal with the same thing. As a successful photographer, right? Podcaster, a dad, right? Some commonalities there. Right. And as a singer, sometimes I come to this crossroads where I find it really difficult to separate, because we all know you can't go 25% here, 25% there, 25% here. You got to go all in on one thing. But it's hard for somebody like me. I love what I do. And this isn't to boast. I'm good at what I do because I put a lot of heart and soul and passion, and I elevate everyone around. Like, you're the same. You're an incredible editorial man, and I can't wait to photograph you. I really do. I can't, because that's a no-brainer. It's my jam. It's what I've been doing for years. So I think that's going to be a great collaboration. But anyway, I could talk about that for hours. As a singer, as a mom, right? You're working your ass off. So how do you delegate? How do you mix the three and still manage to have some time to sleep? Because that's always been a hassle for me, in all honesty. Talk to me.
I don't sleep, Manny.
There you go. See what I tell you guys? It's the same answer all of us have. We don't sleep. Like, I've heard of this sleep thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
What is that? No, in all fairness, I am trying to balance my life.
Right.
This year, life of balance is a year of balance. So, my kids are my priority. Obviously, I'm a mother first and foremost. Then I have to pull in money to pay for the passion, which is the music.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have a wonderful team that's supporting that music. So that really helps. It's mostly about trying to find balance.
And wait, there it is. It's mostly about, I love that. There's the Canadian coming out of you. I was waiting for it. I'm like, where is it? There it is. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm so silly.
I was gonna throw in an A or I'm so sorry or thank you.
Right. Go ahead.
It's just, for me, I've kind of dropped off like my personal health, drinking water, feeding myself.
Yeah. And you look great. You look great.
I haven't exercised in like 8 years.
Wow. So. You're just one of those pathetically gifted, genetically blessed individuals. Damn it.
So this year it's about, personal health, personal well-being, mental health, I can balance a ton of stuff.
Good for you.
And I think that's just what it is. You come home, you put the kids to bed.
Yeah.
And you sit down with a guitar at the piano and you write some music, and then you find time to produce it. And it just happens.
Yeah, that's great. So, definitely I'd say at the top of the tier is take care of your health, because without your health, I don't care how great you are, how loaded and rich and famous, means nothing. And I know you're going to attest to that. Absolute evidence.
You can't take it to your grave.
Yeah, so you cannot.
Right?
And that's what they say. There's this amazing adage. It always hits home. Always hits home, because why there's so much money in cemeteries? Because so many dreams are buried there.
Oh, we're going Manny, let's dig ourselves back out.
Right, dude, that's when you think about that, that's pretty deep. So I always think about that, and that just lights a fire in my ass. I mean, I'm already, motivated.
Do what you love. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and the rest is all
I love
good.
it. Oh, that's such a great quote. You make my job so easy with this. That's a story. It's a story right there. But let's move on. This is the last question. See, painless, right? Let's talk about your song. So with Hourglass, I personally love the video. I love the landscape. I love the cinematography, because as a photographer, that's something that I truly am a fan of. It kind of reminds me of those scenes in Star Wars. And then you add your voice. You know who you remind me of? If I were to pick out some influences, Billy Martin, Marika Hartman, RYX. Those are some great influences, and I hear that.
Those are at the top of my list for playlists.
Right,
every day.
Yeah. So
listen to Billie Eilish. Usually interviewers and write-ups about me were like, "Oh, with Billie Eilish and Dua Lipa had a baby, it would be Mak London."
Yeah,
which I found very flattering.
Yeah.
The artist I've listened to most. At one point, it was Billie Eilish all night long.
Yeah, I can see the influences. I can see it's very airy.
Dark pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Billy Martin's on there, absolutely RYX.
Yeah. I hear that in you because it's very airy.
The very airiness. I love that. And I have this, let's manifest something here. I would love to perform with an orchestra.
Yes.
And to have a song like be carried that way. The way that he has concerts, it's like that's my dream.
Well, put it out there. Put it out there. It was mentioned here today first on this episode of Mojo for Musicians, right? That Mak London wants an orchestra behind, right? And it'll happen. It'll happen. So now we've just put it out there. Now you expect it. So this is a little game that I'm incorporating in this. Now, I didn't want to tell you about this. Okay, I didn't want to tell you about this, but this is a little game. It's
You're
called
full of surprises today.
I am. I have to be. You know, the name of the game is called Rock and Go. Okay. So I'm going to listen to the song, and I want everyone to listen to it because, first of all, I think we need to hear the talents of Mak London. And wherever I stop the song, you got to continue it on an a cappella.
No.
Yes.
No, it's not happening.
Yes. Yes. Are you ready?
No. I just started sweating. Did you know that I have performance anxiety?
Well, you know what? I tell you what. Let's do it, right? Let's do it.
You do it. Let's see how good of an interviewer you are and how
I'm ready. You give me a microphone right now. I'm ready to rock Madison Square. You can't ask me that.
Let's go, Manny.
I wish I knew the lyrics of your song. I would butcher it.
Oh, pull them up.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. All right. You know what? Fine. We don't have to do it, but I want everyone to listen to the song. I want everyone to listen to the song and just appreciate the vocal finesse of Mak London. So here is Mak London with Hourglass.
Feels like I'm sinking in all of your problems. Stuck in the mix as I fall to the bottom. Pressed to the glass and inside I am screaming. When will you drop me? 'Cause I'm barely breathing. But I don't wanna hide from you, breakable. 'Cause I'm so fragile, I'm begging you, please don't flip me over. I'm running like an hourglass. I'm trapped inside of hourglass.
Oh, that's so pretty. So pretty. So talk to me, what was the impetus behind that song? Like, why did you choose that setting? I see that you're like in this little glass box. You're in this little glass box, and you've got this whole
this desolate
isolation. It's a distant location. Like, what was the inspiration behind this whole song? There's so many elements in play. I have to ask because you pick this secluded area in the middle of nowhere. Seems like you're in the middle of like a Boba Fett episode, right? And then you're contrived into this box. So there's a lot of emotion. Right? There's a lot of pain. And then you make this transition into a dark room.
Yeah, the song it's a monumental song for me. It's something that I'm going through personally right now and have been going through for some time. And it was extremely important to capture those visuals of how I feel. Being trapped inside a box. I started writing a book called Into the Box about a few years ago. And it just goes through how people can get trapped in a situation and they feel helpless, but at the same time, they're fighting through it. So there's a lot of visuals of me running away. There's a lot of visuals of me just trying to break through. And then there's kind of the close-up version of what it feels like to be covered in this crap,
Yeah, that's a great word for it because it is. Yeah.
It is. And, that I'm kind of trying to dance through it and trying to make something beautiful out of it, which is why there was the light and dark. Be fluid and moving through it because it's what you have to do. You can't go around the tunnel. You have to go through it.
Absolutely.
And that was my message in the song is, face me.
Yeah.
I want to face you and let's move on.
I think it's great because I always discuss how facing your fears is the only way to eliminate them because you kind of disarm them. You disempower them. That's great. So, I'm in alignment with you on that one. That's fantastic.
It was so much fun to film.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like
I remember the reels. I remember the reels you posted them. You're behind the scenes, you're doing that. That's epic. I'm glad you recorded that because those are the pieces that become timeless, right?
Yeah. I think, going forward, I'd like to move into production and direction. Visual arts is something that I've specialized in since I was very young. And so it comes very easily to me. And I think linking songs to visual art is maybe my jam.
Yeah.
And so moving forward, I'd like to continue that.
There you go. Well, you have the visuals already from a model standpoint. Love the photography, and we're definitely going to get this photo shoot done. I know we are, because I've been dying. I know Bobby Del Rio, another big guy on Clubhouse, and there's so many great artists. I've photographed a slew of artists from Nashville, incredible country artists. So believe me, there's a lot of talent that's coming from Canada. So I'm even more intrigued to go there now. But listen, before we go, how can people find you? What do you want to promote real quick? Because I want to support. I'm a big cheerleader of Mak London. Come on.
Well, thank you. You can find me on Instagram and reach out and say hi. I, regularly check my DMs and like to say hi back to fans. And you can write me an email. You can see all of that on maklondonmusic.com.
Love it. Well, listen, thanks for sharing all of your mojo with my Mojo Maniacs. I wish you much abundance and success in your career, Mak. And keep us posted. All right. We got to do this again when you get your first Grammy. How about that?
Oh, that's a dream.
All right. Thanks so much, Mak. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks, Manny.
All right.
This has been a Mojo for Musicians podcast. To learn more about becoming a featured guest on the Limelight Lounge and share your mojo with us, visit mannycabo.com. and send us an email in the contact section. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast app. And if you like what you hear, be sure to give us a positive rating and review. And remember, music is a universal language of inspiration. So keep supporting your local artists so they can keep inspiring the world. As always, much love and peace, and always live to inspire. Thanks for listening.